As a junk journal beginner with very few supplies, I didn't think I could make a pretty journal. I kept a lookout and started collecting free and cheap things to build my journal. I ended up finding so much stuff, and honestly, I got a little carried away. My finished Christmas journal is almost 2 inches thick. It's shocking how many things you can use when you start looking and noticing all the ephemera in everyday life. Turns out not having pretty papers and stickers was a blessing in disguise. I love this finished journal so much more because it's made up of bits of our everyday life. It's like a time capsule of our holiday season. It makes my creative heart so happy, and it was mostly free to make. I want to flip through the entire journal with you today and point out over 40 free and cheap things you can use to make and decorate a junk journal. And these ideas are not limited to making a holiday journal. Most of the things I used come into our everyday life year-round, so I hope you get loads of ideas for any journal you're working on. I made the cover of this journal with the front of a gift bag. I took the ties off the top of the bag and punched new holes on the side here to use it as a closure for the journal. Inside the front cover, you can see the side of the gift bag, and this is from a Trader Joe's shopping bag. Here's a few of the other leftover panels from that bag. On the back, I doodled with a white gel pen. This envelope is made from a calendar page. I used a vintage ticket and a brad to create a closure. You can see here it says calendar. This was actually the back of the front of the calendar. This page I used a really old Project Life card and covered the back to make a journaling card. The background here is from a Magnolia magazine. On this spread, I printed out a recipe that Disney sent us for Hawaiian sweetbread French toast. For the background here, I used this cute napkin. It is laminated on one side, and I turned it into a pocket on this side, which is a piece of file folder that I decoupaged with another napkin. This one is actually called table paper, and I got it from Daiso, and it is only 1 ply, so it's really easy to glue onto paper. This King's Hawaiian flip is from the bread that we used to make the French toast. I actually laminated several of the pieces from the bread bag and then kept them to see which ones I would want to use in the spread. This spread was about a shopping haul at Paper Source and Home Goods. This is from the Paper Source bag. The background is a vintage page from a typewriter book that I reinforced with the tissue paper from Paper Source. And then I put in samples of all the napkins that I picked up at Home Goods and the papers that I purchased at Paper Source. On this spread, I added a coffee sleeve from Starbucks. Coffee sleeves are great. You can use them as a pocket, or you can open them out like this. I wanted to open it out so I could see the merrier together. And then throughout the journal, I made a bunch of these journaling cards using different vintage book pages and magazine images and tickets. I just made them all as one big collage board and then cut them up and decorated them to use in the journal. This is from a packaging of peppermint candies. I actually cut the images off of the packaging and saved them to use in the journal. I didn't use this larger one, but I liked how this little one looked like a sticker. On this page, I used a bunch of food packaging from Thanksgiving, from the pie crusts and the pumpkin can wrapper, and I used them to hide the journaling underneath. This is another journal card that I wrote on the back of, and this is the cornbread box. Here I use the rest of that calendar page to create a pocket for this journal card, which I wrote on the back of. This is a built-in coffee sleeve from a coffee cup. I actually cut it off of the cup. And this is a sticker from the ground coffee. These pieces are all from the bakery box that we brought home. And this is a watercolor sketch I did of the movie that we watched on Thanksgiving morning, and I did a little journaling on the other side. This page is about Thanksgiving, and I covered up the pictures of my nieces and nephews. This bottom picture flips up for some journaling, and this piece also flips up for additional journaling. And I saved this piece of stationery from my mother-in-law that my niece had scribbled on with a fountain pen. Background of this page is another napkin that I laminated. This pocket here I created with a piece from the back of food packaging. I think this one came off of some candy canes. And this is an egg roll wrapper from our last day of Thanksgiving break when we ordered hibachi. This is a file folder that I covered with the top of a vintage Christmas magazine. I actually picked up a couple of these magazines at my library thrift shop for $0.25, and I used pieces from the covers and also from the inside. On the back of this file folder, I included a tutorial that I had done from Diane Hill to draw a chinoiserie peony, and I painted it in with watercolor on a vintage book page. This page is from a Minted catalog. They are a custom greeting card company. They send out a beautiful catalog. The pages aren't shiny, they're all a matte finish. So you can see I really mined this catalog for pieces to use in my holiday journal. This is a pocket here on the side with another collaged journal card. I used this catalog page to cover the back of this December calendar. And on the side here, there's another pocket with another collage tag. And on the back, there is another tall pocket. This is one of the vintage pages from the Christmas magazines. And I turned this into a trifold card so I could keep notes inside about what we were getting our kids for Christmas. This page I used as a gift tracker. I did a little decorating down here at the bottom with a vintage stamp. And this adorable snowman wraparound is from another napkin that I bought for our Christmas Eve celebrations. And this guy opens up into 4 snowmen. So I actually laminated him like this so that I could peel it apart and it would be single side laminated pairs of snowmen. And then I just wrapped him around the edge of this page. This is a package from some little stirrer spoons that I bought in the Target dollar spot. On this side, it's all different pieces of wrapping paper we got this year. In here, I tucked some packaging from some new pens that I purchased and the swatches from doing color samples. This page is all wrapping paper. This is the end of the Scotch tape. And these open up for a little journaling spot. I was just writing about how I thought it was wonderful that Target had these artist-illustrator collaborations and the artists got their names on the back of the wrapping paper. And this page is actually built from the back of the gift tags. This page is all about candy and sweets. I laminated another napkin to create this pocket. And inside I tucked a journaling card. I collaged a piece of the food packaging from these mini donuts on the top. This pocket is a cocoa packet, and inside I made a few tags from other Christmas treat packagings. This is our Christmas card this year, and I added decorative paper to the envelope lining and attached our card over here. I used a vintage stamp and a Do Not Bend sticker for a little mini collage on this side. I cut these mini envelopes out of the Minted catalog and mixed them in with some vintage stamps to make this belly band. Inside, I tucked the glassine envelope that the post office gave me when I bought my Christmas stamps, and one of the demo cards that I painted for my December tutorial. This page is built from pieces from the new tree topper that we bought this year, and this pocket is from the top of an ornament. There's another tag. These pieces I cut out of the Trader Joe's shopping bag, and there's just some journaling on the back. This page has a lot going on, some instructions from the tree topper, some journaling. This is some to-go packaging that I decoupaged the inside with a napkin and did some journaling. This is a piece I cut off of a coffee cup that my husband brought home, and it had this cute Santa stamp on it, and I just did a little journaling on the back. This is a vintage book page with pine cones on it. This is an envelope that my dad sent me a couple years ago. He had put a bunch of stamps on it, and I used it to create a flip-out journaling spot. This is a vintage Christmas card from my grandparents with my dad and his sister. I was helping my dad scan some old photos this year, and we came across this one, so I reproduced it to put here in my journal and also made it a journaling spot. Here's the envelope closure. My dad had put this sticker on it. I used it to tuck in another tag. This little page is made from the front of a Swiss Miss cocoa box. My sister-in-law gives us these every year, and I found the ones from last year still in our cupboard, so I used them for a few journaling cards in this journal. On the back side, I added some photos that go along with the journaling on this page. This page is a piece of cardboard that I cut off the top of a pizza box. And I backed it with the instructions for assembling our new dining chairs that we got this year. This page pocket is actually tissue paper. This beautiful tissue paper that I saved from a gift last year, and I used washi tape to seal it on the top and bottom to turn it into a pocket. And this whole spread is all about my son's first high school musical. Inside this pocket are 2 candy boxes that we sent him during the show, and I used them to journal on the back of. This is the cover of the playbill that shows all the scenes on the back. I have the page all about the cast. On the back side, I did some journaling and added this cute little star tag. Here is the back part of the program. I saved one of the popcorn bags when I was helping with concessions. This one actually fell on the floor, so I saved it for my journal. And I just used it to create pockets to tuck some photos inside. It's also a pocket on this side of the tissue paper where I tucked in part of a takeout menu and I stapled the candy wrapper from the restaurant right to the top of the takeout menu to serve as a tab. There's a lot to see on this spread. The background of this page is a flyer from my neighborhood. I covered it up with a pharmacy bag because we didn't actually get to go do the festivities because my son got sick. I used another one of the cocoa boxes to create a journaling tag about that. And I also made this cute little bookmark that says warm cup of tea kind of day, and attached the tea tag and use the tea wrapper to create this pocket on the front. These little tea wrappers make great pockets for junk journals. On this side, this is a page where I just stuck everything that wasn't really important enough to have its own page, but I thought was cute and I wanted to collect. So the top here is a tag from some cookies we got from Panera. These numbers were on some to-go boxes of food that we ordered when my son was sick. These stickers are from Halo's mandarins. I have a label that I took off a coffee package. This is a napkin ring from a local restaurant, a cheese sticker, some packaging from a Target box that we received, a price sticker from purchasing the ornament at our library, and this is a piece of food packaging that flips down for a tiny journaling spot. This spread is all about taking my dad to see our new public library. This page I found in the Magnolia magazine, and this bow I cut out from one of those vintage Christmas magazines. I added a catalog card here that I decorated with a piece of an old gouache painting that I cut out, and it flips open for some journaling. The tab is made from a tea tag that I painted with acrylic paint and stapled on. And underneath I added some pictures and used some bits from old book pages and a vintage stamp to decorate the page. While my dad was here, I took him to the Frisco Heritage Museum because he loves trains. I made these pages with printouts of photos of ephemera that I took at the museum. Instead of printing my photos on photo paper, I printed them with the color laser printer at my library so that I could collage with them and create these pages and pockets. And inside these pockets are some of the photos from the Heritage Museum. And these flip to reveal more photos, and I really loved this train art that was in the museum, so I made that a prominent feature. And in the back here, I have a really tall journaling tag that I made with pieces of those vintage Christmas magazines, some scraps of paper, and some more cutouts from the Trader Joe shopping bag. I made this page from a coupon book from Half Price Books. My dad and I went on a little shopping trip, and on the front I attached this envelope to serve as a pocket about our night at Merry Main Street, where we had a meter-long pizza. This is a watercolor sketch I did of the pizza. This I printed out from the email that the city sent about the Merry Main Street event, and I put some photos on the back and a journaling card, and we kept the label off of some of the popcorn that we got while we were there. This little bag came with the charcuterie board that we ordered for Christmas Eve. I turned the bottom into a pocket and used it to hold our guest list for Christmas Eve. I decorated the other side with some stickers from the charcuterie board and from some cookies we got and a couple of vintage stamps. This little piece of paper is rice paper that I created from the dessert plate that the cookies came on. So it came on this plastic plate and the bottom has these raised ridges in a starburst pattern. So I used my Neocolor 1 white crayon to do a texture rubbing of the dessert plate. And then I painted the rice paper with watercolor. This is a beautiful Christmas card that my mother-in-law gave me. I used the envelope to create the page and turned it into 2 pockets. On the front is the front of the card, and I added a vintage stamp and a wax seal that I cut out from that minted catalog. And on the back, I turned over the flap of the envelope to create a tuck spot for the inside of the card. On this page, I kept a bunch of the gift tags from Christmas, and I created these pockets with a piece of junk mail from Minted that I actually saved from last year. They had sent out a 5x7 card featuring their gold foil designs. And so I saved that and cut out pieces of the border to create these small pockets. This page is where I tracked gifts that we received and kept some of the used gift cards from Christmas. On the back here, I just did a washi tape sampler of all of the tapes that I used in this holiday journal. This adorable little gift bag is one that my mother-in-law gave my son a few years ago. And when I found it in my gift bag stash, I knew I had to include it in here. She had put a little fake stamp here and the cutest tiny little Christmas bow. On the back, I used this tissue paper that I ironed onto freezer paper. And then I turned it into this page with a pocket. And inside I put an E for my niece Evelyn, and I have a few photos in here of her opening the gifts that we gave her. I made this Harry and David tag with some of the tissue paper that the pears came wrapped in and a piece of the mint chocolate candy wrapper. And I used the back side to do some journaling. This little pocket page was created from the front of one of those Christmas magazines, and I cut slits in it to turn it into pockets to hold these gift tags that my sister-in-law gave us. This snowman page is a floating pocket or like a little bag that I made from another calendar page. This page reminds me of my parents because they love cardinals. And I put in some journaling paper so I can write more about the visit we had with my dad this year. This page was created from another pizza box. I cut the cardboard off of the top of the box and turned it into this little French door situation that opens up. I included a little watercolor sketch of the Vespa that they keep out front of this Italian restaurant. The background of this page is from an old piece of Amazon packaging that I saved in my supply journal. This is an older Trader Joe's shopping bag that I found in my stash of paper bags, and I just loved the cute houses and the snow, so I made a page from that and used part of a brochure and another coffee sleeve to create this little pocket. And I added this little tag with a piece from the coffee bag and a sticker on the back from my favorite treat from this bakery. I used the back of the gift bag that I had used for the cover of the journal to create my New Year's spread. And you can see it says 2024 on this tab and 2025 on this tab. These are both pockets with large journaling spots. This page is a junk mail postcard from Bowden. I just liked how it said, "Good things are coming." I used the snowflakes cut out from the Trader Joe's bag to cover up the logo down here. I used the side of the Trader Joe's bag that had these awesome patterns on it to create this pocket over here with one more hot cocoa journaling card. And the last page is a tribute to Trader Joe's and their super cute Christmas grocery bags. And this piece on the back here that is clipped on is a piece of cardboard that I cut off the front of the cocoa box. And it's just plain on the back, but I'm using it as a writing board so I can stick it behind any page in the journal and clip it on if I want to add a little bit of journaling. It just gives me a nice smooth surface to write on. Even with all these free and cheap ideas, you might have some blank spots in your journal that need a little extra something. For that, my favorite free way to decorate any page is watercolor stenciling. Yes, you can stencil with watercolor on almost any type of paper. Watch my watercolor stencil hack video to see how. Isn't it amazing how many things we come into contact with every day that we could use in our journals? Start keeping an eye out and you'll find wonderful bits of everyday life to decorate your journal.